Now the college will confer the last honorary degree on our keynote speaker, Dr. Pedro Noguera. Educator, activist, and author, urban sociologist, Dr. Pedro Noguera is one of the nation's most powerful voices on education reform, diversity, and the achievement gap. If he looks familiar, it is because you have seen him as a commentator on educational issues on CNN and other news outlets. He's the executive director of the Metropolitan Center for Urban Education, co-director of the Institute for the Study of Globalization and Education in Metropolitan Settings, and a professor in the Steinhardt School of Education at NYU. He has served as an advisor engaged in collaborative research with urban school districts throughout the United States and the Caribbean. A prolific writer, Dr. Noguera authored the groundbreaking book, City Schools and the American Dream, Reclaiming the Promise of Public Education, which won the Forward Magazine's Best Book in Education Award and the American Association of Educational Studies Book of the Year. Dr. Noguera's studies focus on the ways in which schools are influenced by social and economic conditions in the urban environment. He's a powerful speaker on urban school reform, youth violence, and the potential impact of school choice and vouchers on urban public schools, all factors that affect student achievement and reflect race and ethnic relations in our society. Let us welcome Dr. Pedro Noguera.
Good afternoon. President Thompson, let me say what an honor it is to be here with you, and to the Board of Trustees, a privilege to now join your ranks as an honorary doctorate of this great institution. To the faculty who are here, as one of your colleagues, I know that you have made time and sacrifice for these students, and I want to applaud you for your service to this university. To the parents, children, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, and friends out there, you too have made sacrifice. You've sacrificed for these graduates, your time, childcare. You've made it possible for them to be here today, so I want to applaud you. And now to the graduates, the class of 2012. Each of you has made a commitment and a great investment in yourselves. Perhaps no more important an investment than investing in your health is investing in your education. And although some of you may have big debts now as a result, it is a wise investment, an investment that will clearly pay off long into your future. I want you to know that I am like you. I come from a family where neither of my parents graduated from high school. I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, in the and like you, I will not let where I am from define what I can become. I want to talk about two things today: education and money, both very important. Education, you've already shown us, is clearly important and worth the sacrifice. But I want to remind you of something. There are lots of people out there with an education who are fools, who make bad decisions. And that's because with all the education in the world and all the degrees you can have, if you don't have common sense, you've got no sense at all. What's more, if you've got an education but you don't have values and don't have a moral compass, you can make lots and lots of bad decisions. We have lots of examples of that today in our country, of individuals who have learned degrees and who graduate from great institutions, but who are corrupting this country and are pursuing policies that are bankrupting this nation. I want to read a quote from a Holocaust survivor about education. He writes, "I am a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no person should witness. gas chambers built by learned engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and babies shot and killed by high school and college graduates. I am suspicious of education. My request is this: help your students to be human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, or educated Eichmanns. Reading and writing and spelling and history and arithmetic are only important if they serve to make our students more human. My father, who, as I said, did not graduate from high school, told me before I went off to college, you can get a free education with a library card. Most people don't pursue it. My request to you now is to not make this the last stop in your education, but to become lifelong learners. To continue to grow intellectually, but to also grow ethically. Because this country needs people with a moral compass, who will use knowledge for a righteous purpose. We are suffering under the burden of individuals who are learned but who are morally bankrupt. And I want to encourage you to join the ranks of those who, like the Persian poet Rumi, understood there's two types of education. He says there are two types of intelligence. One acquired as a child in school, memorizing facts and concepts from books and from what the teacher says, collecting information from traditional sciences as well as from new sciences. He says, with such intelligence you rise in the world, you get ranked ahead of or behind others in regard to your competence in retaining information. You stroll with this intelligence in and out of fields of knowledge, getting always more marks on your preserving tablets. He says, but there is also another kind of intelligence, one already completed and preserved inside you, a spring overflowing in its spring box, a freshness in the center of the chest. This other intelligence does not turn yellow or stagnate. Its fluid does not move from outside to inside through the conduits of plumbing of learning. This second knowing is a fountainhead from within you, moving out. This is not merely common sense, this is your conscience. This is what will help you know what is right and what is wrong. This will allow you to make good decisions, to be good citizens, to be good parents, to be good lovers. This is the kind of intelligence that will allow you to make a true contribution to our society and to the world. At the end of slavery, there was a clear understanding that education was the key to liberation. A common saying among the former slaves was that education was the one thing that could never be taken away. It is the reason why former slaves sought first to get to read and to seek knowledge and degrees, because they understood that it's with knowledge that they could prevent themselves from being enslaved once again. My great mentor and colleague, Pedro, Puerto Rican poet and writer, author of Down These Mean Streets, who died just a few months ago, told me that he received his education while he was in prison, behind bars in Sing Sing. And he learned then that if he could free his mind, they could not control his body. Your knowledge can make it possible for you to go new places and overcome great obstacles, but only if you have both types of intelligence. Let me say something about money. All of us need money, that's obvious. We need money to pay our bills, we need money to support ourselves, to pursue our dreams. But let's be clear, we can't take it with us. And with all the money in the world, if you don't have happiness, if your children don't love you, if your friends don't respect you, you won't have much at all. Money is, and the pursuit of it is destroying not only this country but the world. In the pursuit of wealth, we are destroying this planet. We are taking on wars and we are exploiting all types of people. The pursuit of money, when it's not guided by a clear moral conscience, leads to greater corruption and greater suffering. I want to encourage you not only to think about how to secure yourself, because As I said, financial security is essential. But how to use your minds and your hearts to ensure that when you make money, you will do something to help not only yourself, but your loved ones and your communities. We see lots of examples of individuals with great wealth who come from humble beginnings and turn their backs as if they never knew where they came from. We need a different example, an example of individuals who not only enrich their minds, but use their talents to enrich the lives of others. Let me read a quote from the great Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, who was quoted earlier today, who reminds us that the roots of violence are wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, and politics without principles. I am proud to be a graduate like you today of MCNY. I am proud because of what this college represents, its commitment to using education to forge a path for a more just and equitable society. We live in troubling times, a time when our economy is still in deep, deep recession, where there are wars and rumors of wars across the world, when our environment is in peril. It is a time when many people are afraid. I am not afraid. I am not afraid because as I look out in this audience, I see a new generation of thinkers, of bankers who will be ethical and make wise decisions about investing in our communities. I see educators who will teach our children well. I see policy analysts who will devise policies that are just and fair and equitable and create a new type of state and city and country. I am not afraid because of you. Because in you, I see a better future. I see the potential to transform this nation and have it live up to its ideals. And for that reason, I am proud to be among you today as a graduate of MCNY. I wish you all the very best.